This will be a whole series called Fairy Garden Table. So this is the first video of I don't know how many videos to come. This is the base layer of the Fairy Garden Table. Hey you guys, I'm ready to start my table. So this is the size of the mold that I usually use for my tables. And I'm gonna use this bigger one so you can see the difference. Like, not only is it like wider, it's definitely thicker as well. But I don't think I'm gonna fill it all the way full. We'll see how it goes. We're just beginning. So this is step one. What I've done so far, this is the wood that I'm using. I sealed the back of the wood and I've sanded it down, and I created a little doorway, which I sanded all this down. And what it's gonna fit this fairy door. So it's gonna live like that. But this won't happen for a while. My first step is to pour a base layer of resin. The colors I am going to be using are these. I'm gonna do like a brown, here, this way. This is better. So brown and green, and then I have this one, which is mint, but it's got kind of a goldy fleck. And it's, I don't know, it'll add a little bit of sparkle, but these are the base. I might add a little bit of black to these, but I won't know that until I mix it. So we'll see how we do. Step one, let's begin. See you in a second. Okay, so I am using Magic Resin, and this is Magic Resin's Art and Craft resin, which is not a deep pour resin. I can only pour, I think it's a 1/4 inch of depth at a time. So, and it's a 1-to-1, and I have made 2 cups so far, and I have a feeling I'm gonna do 4 in total to start with. So, hey, don't yell at deers. So right now I'm just mixing the clear. I'm gonna add my color. Actually, I might just add my color right now because I'm starting to run out of time. You only have a certain amount of time before the resin starts hardening. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this brown. That's quite a bit. I don't need quite that much. I just kind of eyeball it. And a lot of this is gonna be covered up anyway, so it doesn't have to be like perfect. And I definitely want it to be a little bit dark, so I'm gonna add 1 drop of the black alcohol ink. Now, normally I wouldn't be doing this on top of the mold that I'm going to be using, but I'm doing it in order to show you guys because I have a limited amount of space. So here we go. Stir this all together, and then I'll see how it looks. And once I see how it looks, I'll decide if I need to add more color. So far, I think I might want to add a little bit more black because I definitely want it to be on the darker side of brown, and this is looking a little bit light. So I am definitely going to add, I'm just going to do it right now because I know I'm going to do it. I'm going to add maybe another 2 drops of this black. Oop, that was 3. Oh well. No big deal. Because this is going to be the forest ground, ideally, so it needs to be a little bit dark. I like that, but I also might add a little bit of copper. I have a little bit of copper here. I'm just gonna add a little bit of copper because I want it to be, I don't know, I just think it'll be better. This is how I do my colors. I eyeball it. So there's a little bit of copper. That's probably more than I intend, but it's gonna be okay. Copper, mica powders. These are all mica powders. There we go. Alrighty, yes. So this is the color I'm going for. Now, because I don't measure, like you just saw, my chances of like getting 2 of this exact color are probably not great, but I don't really care because I really like when the colors mix together. And with resin, it always makes it always looks kind of cool if the colors aren't the same because they blend together nicely. So if you're trying to go for the exact same color, you should probably find somebody who's going to measure, because that is not me. I will never be measuring anything, just so you know. I will measure my resin because that part's important, but I'll never measure my colors. Anyway, so I'm gonna now stir this for 3 to 5 minutes. I love this color. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a dark coppery brown color. We're going for a magical forest, not a accurate forest. So the metallic-y mica powder look is awesome. What I'm also thinking about is my legs when I'm making this table. And I want the legs to be as invisible as possible. So in order to hide the legs, I need to have a dark back, like a dark base coat to start with. And that will hide the legs and the screws. But it also won't allow light to come in from the bottom, which is the sacrifice that you make when you make the decision to hide the legs. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with this. You scrape the sides. Make sure you're constantly scraping your paddle. And I'll be back. I'll show you what I'm going to do with the green color in a sec. Okay, so I put my coppery brown color right here, put that to the side, and I'm going to make my green color. So I've chosen this kind of sagey, foresty green. Greens in resin are a little bit weird. Sometimes they turn blue. Like my favorite blue for the ocean is actually forest green alcohol ink. So I'm hoping, mica powders tend to stay a little bit more green. So I'm hoping that this one will stay green. I haven't decided if I'm going to add black to this or not, because I want to make sure, I want to see what color it gives me first. So I stir this for a little while just to get an idea. And this is a green with like a golden base, which is kind of ideal because that'll look like the sun coming in, hopefully. I think I like it the way it is, but I also think I might make a third. I might make a third batch. This might go at the top, the brown at the bottom, and I might make a darker green for the middle, because I definitely am going to need a lot of resin for this table, so I have a lot of leeway in what I do. And also, this is going to be mostly covered up because this is just the first layer, and then on top of this I add all of the like flowers and trees and butterflies and stones and everything. So you don't really see too much of this. So I'm not super worried, and I'm also running out of time because it's starting to heat up, which means it's starting to cure, which means you don't have very long to work. I will come back. Okay, so I've made a third resin. So these are all 2 cups. If you're wondering so far how much resin I've used, we're up to 6 cups. This one I added the black to, so you can kind of see the difference. I don't know if you can see the difference, to be honest with you, on camera, but I can see the difference in real life. Maybe if I show you the stir stick, you'll see better. Anyway, I love the colors so far, but they're definitely heating up, so it is time to get pouring. This is my last one that I'm a little bit worried I haven't stirred enough, so I'm gonna pour the other 2 first, and I'll continue to stir this while I'm pouring the other 2. And it's pretty easy. You honestly, you just pour it. So I'm gonna take all of my things out, and I'm gonna just start pouring. So here goes. Here goes the brown. I've put the heat blast on it a few times to get rid of as many bubbles, but again, I'm not super worried about bubbles at this stage because most of this will be covered up, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity to do hot bubbles. And there's also just not a lot of bubbles in it. Like, you can kind of see there's no bubbles in it. So here we go. So I'm just sort of scraping all the resin off. This is going to take so much resin. Alrighty, so I'm going to come and scrape more of that out in a sec. I just want to get my green poured. So this is my green without the black in it, and I want that to live at the top of the table. Just pour it in at the top. Try and scrape off as much as I can. Just scrape off as much much as I can from the sides. Okay, and I'm gonna come back to that one again in a second as well. I'm gonna add my third layer in. Make sure it's really mixed up. I think that's good. And it goes in the middle. Oh, it's a bit aggressive. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna come and scrape that out better in a second. But right now I'm gonna grab my mica. And I'm gonna try and spread this around and mix it in a little bit. I really just want the mold to have resin all over. I want it to reach all the edges. I like that this is mixing a little bit with the brown. Try and get any potential bubbles on the edges. And really, that's all I'm going for this first layer, is just kind of some mixing and some basic coverage of the whole table. I'm gonna mix up 6 more cups of resin and I will be back in a sec. You guys, so I'm back and I made 3 more colors. This one, I don't know if you can tell, is I added yellow, like a golden. I added gold to the green because I thought we needed to add a little bit more sunshine. And this is my green. And I made another coppery brown color. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it in. I'm gonna pour some up and around just to add in some extra color, help the mix. Okay, and I'm gonna add my sunshine layer. Make sure it's nicely mixed. My sunshine layer is definitely gonna be at the top and the sides. And it practically covered up all of that green. So I'm gonna add some more green. Right in the middle. Maybe swirl it down in the brown and swirl it up in the yellow. There we go. Alrighty, so 6 cups is the amount that gives you a good base layer for this table. If you're keeping track of how much resin we're using. First base coat is 6 cups of resin. I'm going to scrape as much of this off as I can. Add in some of the yellow. Maybe I'll put some yellow here in the brown just to give it some extra sunshine in the brown. Again, this is mostly all going to be covered up, so enjoy the prettiness of the resin right now because it's going to be covered in flowers and all kinds of things soon enough. I'll get the last of my brown. I'm going to add some resin like this because I really like how the brown and the copper kind of mix in with the rest. Okay, so the brown is scraped out. I'm going to scrape out the rest of the green. Resin is really expensive, and this project takes so much resin that I want to make sure I get all of it. Of the yellow. All right, so that's what it looks like when it's scraped out. So then I grab alcohol and I spray each of these a few times with alcohol. And you can see I dropped some alcohol into the resin. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna begin the cleaning process while the resin is wet. So I just take a paper towel and I scrape off as much as I can. And put it to the side. And I do the same for all three. Just kind of wipe off as much of the resin as I can. Put it to the side. This last one isn't coming as clean, so I'm just gonna flip my paper towel around and I'll give it another spritz of alcohol. And there we go. That's pretty clean now. And my cups, they've got alcohol in them now. You can see at the bottom. I just wipe those out. Wipe them out and then I flip them upside down to cure / dry. And all the resin, if there's any resin left, will just become hard and then you can peel it off and you can either use, I do this with it. You can peel it off and you can use duct tape to get the remaining resin out once it's cured. But this will save you a lot of time and agony if you do it now while it's wet. Most of it's out already. And is my table curing all weird right now? A little bit, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to get my heat gun and it'll be all fine. I just grabbed some fresh paper towel to continue wiping this guy out. Now this one I've used a few times, so it's even more dirty. And it will need a duct tape peel after this. And the third and final one. Before I grab the heat gun and start playing with the resin. That one's pretty good too. So I put those aside. Now my gloves are covered in resin. So I knew that that was going to happen, so I put paper towel on my heat gun. And now I blow all the resin around. And start blending it in to make it look a little bit more natural and normal and not all liquid. I have it on 4, temperature setting 4, and I have it on 5. which means the resin is really heating up, and it's also really like being blown around. So you gotta watch, your splashes. It can splash on the couch, which is like right behind me as well. It's not that cool. So gotta be a little bit careful about what you're doing. But also, I'm just trying to get this blended in. So we can start adding on different layers and different elements. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and now I'll show you the whole thing. This is what it looks like, and now I'm just gonna let it cure for a little while, and I'll be back. This is day one, sort of, I guess day two really, because we already had a whole day of sanding and preparation, so here we go. The garden table has begun. It's been curing now for, I think, probably about an hour. It's pretty thick, and it was starting to look very circular. So I went in with my stick and I just did this. What I'm hoping is to get away from the roundness of the table. The resin mold will naturally want to, it'll naturally want to go round, and I don't want that. So I'm pushing these things, I'm pushing the brown up through the green. And what I'm hoping to do is kind of make it look a little foresty. I'm not too worried about all this part because you won't really see it so much. Mostly I just want to break it up a little bit so it doesn't look like a great big circle. I want shape and I want depth and I want it to look as foresty as possible. And that's how thick it is about an hour in. And I think I kept saying 6 cups of resin. It is 12 cups of resin in total. So I use this measuring cup up to the 16-ounce 2-cup mark, and I put in 6 of them, which means 12 cups in total. All right, you guys, that's the end of the part 1 video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share my channel. I will be posting the rest of the videos soon. This will be a whole series called Fairy Garden Table. So this is the first video of I don't know how many videos to come. But this is the base layer of the Fairy Garden Table. Hey you guys, I just thought I would give you an idea of how deep it is so far. This is my finger. So that's how deep it is so far with 12 cups of resin. We got a while to go. That's why this is gonna be a multi-part video. Thanks for watching. That Lady Heather, Reality in Resin. This is the Fairy Garden Table, base layer, step 1, done.